What is up? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about update 1.40 on Gran Turismo Sport. Gonna go through some of my thoughts on it and hopefully then ask some questions to you guys and get some feedback on what you think of the update itself. Now yes, I don't have access to the game, so I can't completely agree or disagree with how the update is affecting the game, or you know, my thoughts on how Sardinia or however you want to say it, how the track feels, or with different cars and such like that. But hopefully you guys will let me know in the comments how the track feels, how the cars feel. We saw the new track in action with the new Red Bull car in the finals the other weekend, and it looked pretty good, so I'm pretty excited to give it a go myself. So firstly, looking at the cars that they've given us, Chevrolet Camaro 1969, yep, going to use that all the time. Toyota Sports 800 1965, yep, I'm going to use that all the time. Oh, look at this, Toyota Tundra TRD Pro 2019, yep, going to use that all the time. Yes, the Clio I think is being used for the daily race this week, and of course the Red Bull X 2019 competition is being used for this week as well, and will probably be used for a nations race at some point. But my argument is the cars don't really matter. We don't really use them unless they're some kind of racing car, you know what I mean? Very cool, but you've got to ask the question, are the cars really for us, or is it some kind of paid promotion thing? Like, why is there a Toyota Tundra? You know what I mean? How many times do you use the Ford F-150 Raptor in this game? Not a lot. So you got to think, is that some marketing with a car company, or is that actually for us as racers, as drivers, as simulation fanatics? So yes, we are going to use the Red Bull car for probably a nations race at some point as well. It will just replace the 2018 model, which is fine, I guess. Obviously it's race C this week as well, so it's getting a lot of use this week. I guess we'll see it in another couple of weeks when it's rotated back on probably a Fuji or another Suzuka like we have on race B this week. So moving on from the cars is the new track, Sardinia, whatever you want to say it. It's a pretty cool looking track. I was watching Super GT's live stream. He was saying that it reminds him very much of St. Croix, however you want to say that one, but a little bit more penned in, a little bit more tricky. It looks really cool. Some really fast corners, some nice tight corners, some good overtaking opportunities on that track as well, which kind of lack on some other tracks. But there's 6 different layouts, so I mean, yeah, there's 6 different layouts, so we should see it quite a bit. But we could say that about St. Croix, you know what I mean? We'd never see it in daily races, so we'll probably see it first couple of weeks, just like Goodwood. I guess we got Goodwood. That was the Group 4. In Group 4 on race C, we had that for 1 week, and now it's race A this week. So again, might see it for a couple of weeks and then it might drop off. But really cool track. Love when they add tracks, whether it's real track or whether it's a made up track. Always really good. With the introduction of these new cars and the new track, obviously new campaign modes have been added into the GT League. Very cool. Go do them, smash them, but there's not really any real reward. It is what it is. Always expecting that. Along with the Goodwood Motor Circuit has been added to the circuit experience now, so that's really cool, and that's a really good way of earning money. If you haven't done the circuit experiences and you need that little bit of credit, go and do them. Smash them on gold. They're not hard. Go do them. Really cool, and it's a good way to understand the track as well. It's interesting that when a new track gets introduced, like Sardinia, that the circuit experience doesn't come with it. Why does it take 2 weeks for the circuit experience to come I don't know, it's just a question to be asked. The next bit in the patch notes is about the scapes. Low angle ground up has been added to the special features section, so whatever that means, I don't really know. So the next bit is actually really cool. I really like this. You can now watch replays of the top 10 stars on the leaderboards and then load them as ghost cars for your qualifying time trial on daily races and free practice. Now you can't do this if you click enter race and then you have like X amount of minutes before, you know, you have the countdown. You can't have it in there. You have to go into the qualifying and then you can race against the top 10 if you download them, which I think is really cool. You know, we've talked about how to improve on the channel before, and you know, one of the points is that you go and you watch one of the top 10 lap times if you want to get faster at that lap. So I think the ability to kind of race against the fastest cars, the fastest people and their ghost, I think is a really cool addition. I don't say it enough. You know, I read through these patch notes every time they come out and I'm like, yeah. But I think this one is really cool, and I think that a lot of people should utilize it to try and get better at these tracks. Now, this next one is kind of confusing to me. Let me know in the comments as well. It comes up, number 6, physics simulation model, and you're like, oh, okay. They're going to actually tell us what they've done and how they've changed stuff, because, you know, in the last couple of updates they've been like, oh, we've changed the physics model, and that's kind of all we've got from it. But now, oh, physics simulation model, okay, what's going on here then? The transmission systems for the following cars have been adjusted. Okay. And then it's the Audi R8, the Enzo Ferrari, the Aventador, the Maserati Gran Turismo, and the SLR McLaren. When do we ever drive them? I don't understand. I don't understand why they've changed that. Was there a problem? Is this to do with, I saw Hizal on his Twitter, I saw that he was like wheeling a car because of the way that it was. I don't know if that's to do with the traction or the transmission or whatever it is, but I think it was one of those cars. It might have been the Enzo Ferrari. But why? Why have they taken the time out to change the transmission systems for cars that no one drives? What do you think? What do you think to that one? I don't really want to say. That's it. That's my question. Why? Why bother? Why bother? It says an explanation has been added for the default semi-automatic transmission. Cool. Also, it is no longer possible to use the full manual transmission mode when using a H pattern shifter and clutch pedal controller. So that's just clutch pedal controller. Is that on the pad or is that on a steering wheel? Regardless, that kind of seems weird. Full manual transmission mode when using a H pattern shifter. Interesting. And then it goes on to, so if you understand that more than me, obviously I don't understand what it is, let me know in the comments section. The simulation of gear changes on cars with manual transmissions has been updated. The time to perform gear shifts with a paddle shift when the transmission is set to manual has been reduced. So faster gear changes, yep, that works. When changing gears in full manual transmission mode, misshifts will occur less frequently. Interesting. This is something I noticed over the last couple of weeks when driving on the pad, is that when I was trying to shift down pretty aggressively, the shift down, it would miss. It will sometimes miss. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's trying to rectify that, because obviously in Gran Turismo, if you're braking in a straight line, you can aggressively downshift in the gears because it's not affecting the life of the car. It's not going to wreck the gearbox. It's not going to wreck the engine. So you can just mash the gears, which will slow you down quicker. and when I was doing that with the square button, it sometimes missed gears. So if I'm trying to go from 5th to 3rd, I know that I just need to go bop bop, and I'm in 3rd. But if I do it as quick as I can and it misses one of them and it doesn't do it, then I then have to rethink and then press it again, and by that time I've missed the point of entry or whatever it is. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I'd like to know if you had suffered from that as well. Suffered like it's a freaking first world problem. And also, it is now more difficult to accelerate in neutral gear if certain inputs are entered. Whatever that means. Oh yes, here we go. This is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites. So obviously, recently there's been a lot of talk about how inconsistent the penalty system is in regards to like people hitting into people and then going off. So if I bumped into someone from behind and then I drove into the wall, that person in front would get a 5-second penalty, if that makes sense. That hasn't been resolved. It says this: the penalty judgment algorithm related to shortcuts has been updated. Now, a couple of people in a live stream that I just did were talking about how they changed it at France at Le Mans, and I don't know if it's been made harsher or if it's been made more relaxed. Obviously, it's been changed so much over the last couple of months. I remember one update, it was super freaking strict. I remember it was at Interlagos, and you know, the turn 2 you can cut a lot, and then suddenly you couldn't, and then at the next update you could cut it again. So it just says the penalty judgment algorithm related to shortcuts has been updated. It doesn't tell us what, it just says we've done something with it, guys, so you got it. You'll figure it out. Just tell us. Just tell us. Just tell us what you've done. Be more specific, please. Another one of my favorites right here. Look at this. Addressed the issue during rolling starts. Okay, perfect. Have they fixed the problem that when you're in a open lobby and you do the rolling start, then some people just, I know it happens like rarely in daily races as well, but then like one person just drives in a circle. Okay, they might have fixed that. They might fix that. Okay, we'll read on. We'll read on. Where certain cars would drive onto the curb and perform a wheelie. What? What? Addressed the issue during rolling starts where certain cars would drive onto the curb and perform a wheelie. What? Please let me know in the comments if you have seen this, because I haven't seen this. Maybe it was something from the last update that I haven't seen because I've been away for a week or two. Mind blowing. Anyway, let me know. Address the issue on the Fanatec wheelbase where analog sticks on compatible wheel rims only would not function if the wheelbase was not updated with the latest firmware. And of course, they always finish with various other issues have been addressed. So it's a pretty interesting one, to be honest. Yes, awesome new track and a couple of new cars that we will use, but the majority we will not use. Interesting. Obviously, no rain, but people who have been playing the game for a long time, when, say, at the national races that were in Germany at the last meeting, you know, they show something and then it doesn't happen for a couple of months. So it might, you know, if you've been following the game, you kind of expected that it wasn't going to happen in this update. So we might just have to wait a couple more updates for that rain to come, because obviously they might have just done it for that track. You know, they've just did the rain for the Red Bull Ring, where they haven't optimized the rain for all the other tracks. So might just have to wait for that just a little bit longer. But I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments on the update, how you are enjoying it as well. Obviously I have to live vicariously through you guys now, as I have no console to play while I'm on vacation, which is fine. I'm on vacation, I don't need to do that. But that's going to be it. If you are new to the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe for more awesome content like this. But if you're new or old, regardless, I hope you enjoyed the little chit chat. I'd love to know your thoughts on the update, whether you're enjoying it or if you're not, I guess, or if you've got any problems with it. Let me know in the comments below, but that's going to be it. Thank you for watching, liking and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one.